Hello, Scott Conway here. I'm going to be doing a live workshop shortly. I'm going to give you the various writing assignments we're going to be doing in this workshop in just a moment. The instructions will follow the same instructions I'll be giving to the people at the live workshop. Here are the assignments. The ideal days exercise. First, write down an ideal work day. An ideal non-work day. An ideal vacation day. What are your top values revealed by the ideal days? The top 3 to 10 things your ideal days reveal are your top values. Write any additional real values you have that may not be reflected in your ideal days, and any aspirational values, those values you may not be living out right now, but those values that you would like to be living out. Write down some goals you would need to attain in order to have your ideal life as revealed by your ideal days. Write some starting ideas for a plan to attain those goals. Just a handful of ideas on what needs to happen and how you can start. And you'll be able to make more plans later, flesh them out in detail later. Just some starting ideas so you have an idea where to start and how to begin to go about this. Just beginning. Daily habits. That's 5 to 7 days a week. 5 days a week if you're just talking work days, 7 days a week, or how many times during a week will be these particular habits to implement or to maintain to achieve those goals. What ideal life creation days, the days that will create your ideal life, living your plan, might look like. What might those days look like? The days you are creating your ideal life. What is your most immediate action to start on the plan? Your most immediate action, something you can do today, something you can do on your very next work day, something you can even maybe do in the next hour after you're done with this exercise. And the last question, perhaps one of the most important ones, a 6-word question. How much help do you need? How much help do you need? What tools might you use? Will you use lists? Will you use posters? Do you need a coach? Do you need a team? Do you need your partner on board? Do you need your kids on board? Do you need to work with your friends, your boss, your team members, your employees? How much help do you need? And just brainstorm some of those ideas. Maybe all you need is a Post-it note on your mirror. Maybe you need to learn some things. Maybe you need a credential. Maybe you need to take a test. How much help do you need? Those are the writing assignments for this particular exercise. The reason I led with them because depending upon what technology you're using to watch or to listen, some people don't have the ability to just pause and then do something else and then just pick up where they left off. So rather than have someone go through all of the instructions first and then try to keep finding their place, I thought if I opened up with the first 3 or 4 minutes with what all the assignments are, for those of you who do part of the assignment that need to come back and listen your way back through for the next assignment, that would simplify that for you. So I'm Scott Conway, and let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here today. I'm running a live workshop. In the live workshop, we're going to do these assignments. Now, this is the process that I use. Feel free, if you're doing this by yourself, adapt it to yourself. We're going to put on some music. There's no music on this workshop video because I don't own any rights to the music that we're using, and so therefore I can't upload it to YouTube or be able to sell it or provide it in an audio format, because I don't own any of these rights and we're going to be playing entire songs. But my recommendation is, between these assignments, just put on a piece of music you like. It could be anything from classical music, pop music, if you have a particularly inspiring piece of music, or some praise and worship music, whatever works best for you. And just put on the song. Put on a playlist if you like. You can play the same song between every single writing assignment and just write during the course of one song and give yourself that limited amount of time. Or you can give yourself more time to get into it more and more fully explore. A lot of this you can adapt. If you're doing this individually, you're doing this in a small group of your own, adapt it to your group. Some people prefer to have more time to reflect and to ponder and to write a little bit more carefully, a little bit more in-depth. A lot of us, we can just start scribbling away. We can get a few ideas down. We'll unpack it later. Let's just go and flow. Whichever way works best for you. If you're doing this on your own, you can do it your way. Just do it. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to put on a piece of music, 3 or 4 minutes long between each writing assignment, and we're going to write during the piece of music. So during the course of this handful of writing assignments, we'll probably spend half an hour or an hour, depending upon if other people kind of get into the flow. We'll just continue to extend the time a little bit. And if people finish up early, we'll just tone the song down, go into the next writing assignment. All in all, this should take anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes for most people. If it takes longer for you, that's great. If you whip it out faster than that, that's great too. The important thing is write it down. Now, it's better if you write it down with your own hand. I mean, literally, you have a pen or a pencil in your hand and you are physically writing it down on paper. Almost as good as typing it out. So you have it in writing. You can see the letters appearing in front of you. You're processing it in your head. You're not just saying, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know. You write it down. Make it process. It makes it much, much more powerful. Then you can look at it later and see, is that really what I was thinking? What would that look like? How can I tinker with that? How can I unpack that? How can I refine that? How can I take that to the next level? Now, don't get hung up on the process, please. If you think, oh, okay, I need to pick the perfect song. You don't need the perfect song. You just need anything. You don't even need a song. If that's going to delay you doing that by more than half an hour or an hour, skip the music. You can just put on the radio, do it in a quiet room, put on something you would normally listen to. Heck, have the TV on for all I care. But get it done. Get it down in writing. Even if you're not happy with the answers. The important thing is get something down. Make your brain begin to do this exercise. And if you write something down, you're allowed to go back and do it again. You're allowed to go back and make it even better. You're allowed to have this flash of brilliance, to get something down that might inspire you. You're allowed to put down something that later on you might think is stupid. In the moment you're writing it down, you might think it's stupid or crazy or completely unreasonable. And that's okay too. You're allowed to go back. What you're not allowed to, what you should never give yourself permission to do, is not begin. So do something. Get something down. Let it start. Now, what can help a lot of people is if you literally write it in pencil. Something I say a lot is it's written in pencil. It's not written in stone. Whether you typed it up or you're even literally using a pen, but it's written in pencil. It's not written in stone. It's not carved into some giant marble slab. You're allowed to erase. You're allowed to delete. You're allowed to rewrite. You can even rewrite as soon as you're done with the exercise. You can go back to the questions again and say, okay, well, while I was writing, that was kind of the first thing that popped into my mind. But I've got some better ideas. Let me flesh this out a little bit more. Okay, I don't like that part. Let me erase that part. Let me delete that part. Let me do that one again. Just keep it going. Maintain some kind of a rhythm, some kind of a pace, some kind of flow, and get to the end. And after you're at the end, then go back and instill in your vision workshop exercise. more brilliance, more power, more passion. And you're allowed to modify it today, tomorrow, next week, as many times as you like, until it's been tinkered with and refined to whatever level you're happy with. And depending upon the way you think, you might be doing a lot of refining over the coming days and weeks. Depending how you think, you might just whip this thing out once and you're happy with it. That gives you the picture you need to get going. The next thing on the vision exercise is now refer to this sheet often. And take some of these things and take a look at what your ideal work day would be. Take a look at what your ideal non-work day would be. Take a look at what your ideal vacation day would be. Take a look at those daily habits. And then employ whatever tools you need based upon your own answer to how much help do I need. To engage in those daily habits. To live out the creation days for your ideal life. With enthusiasm and with some passion and some energy. However much help you need. To put your vision up on your bathroom mirror. To have a card up somewhere in your car. To have something show up as a screensaver. To have a vision board. Whatever is your answer to how much help do I need. Maybe you need a partner. Maybe you can work with your partner. Maybe your partner, your life partner, might not be the best person to do this with. Your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Because sometimes they can kind of catch their own vision. And sometimes, depending on the nature of your relationship, rather than being more of an encouragement, sometimes they can be a little critical or disappointing. So for instance, if I was working with my wife, and as part of my vision it has to do with some financial goals we have to attain. That means if I win, she wins. Because it's us, we're in this together. If I win, we get the win together. The kids get the win together. The family gets to do things. But what it also means, if I stumble, if I falter, if I miss a mark, they also pay a price. And so having someone with you who's going to win with you when you're winning, that can ramp up the enthusiasm. But having the person you're working with, the person you're bouncing things off of, if you stumble, if you falter, if you miss something, if you skip something, if you allow yourself an excuse, which to you might seem like a perfectly valid excuse. And even if your partner thinks it is valid, even if your kids or your spouse think it is a valid excuse, they still might be disappointed. And that sting of disappointment could hurt just enough that you back off. So work with someone that you're comfortable and confident can be a constant encouragement to you, can edify and support you. And sometimes if this is the kind of help you need, give you a swift kick in the butt and say, what are you doing? Get back on track. So you need someone who can do that in your life. And it's easiest if the person doing that for you in your life is not someone who will pay a price if you stumble or falter. So always be careful about choosing your husband or your wife, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your fiancé, your suitor as your partner in something like this. For some people it works beautifully. For a lot of people not so much, but it is something to keep in mind, because the reason for the intensity of sometimes the negative emotional reaction is because they win with you, but they also lose with you. And you want someone who hopefully can maintain that positive attitude and that swift kick in the butt therapy if you need it. And that helps if it's someone who's not emotionally invested in the outcome, other than to be there to encourage you. So just keep that in mind when you're making your choice of people helping you. And then go through the exercise. Start right at the beginning. We open with the writing assignments. I'm going to close with the writing assignments as well. All you have to do is when you hear one of the assignments, just pause the audio, pause the video, listen to your piece of music, then come back to it. If you don't have the technical ability, well then just restart the audio or restart the video until you get down to what your assignment is. As you're coming down to the end of your writing assignment, while you're waiting for the next assignment to come up, if you're getting further down in the exercise, just look over the answers you've given so far. And so as it reads the assignment again, just take a look and say, what did I write for that one? Okay, what did I write for this one? What did I write for this one? So keep reinforcing these again and again, and it gives your brain a context as you work your way through. For most people, if you can just pause it, go to the next assignment, that'll work for you beautifully. The assignments are an ideal day's exercise, an ideal work day, an ideal non-work day, an ideal vacation day. The top values revealed by your ideal days. At least 3, up to about 10. Additional real values you have, real values that show up in your life. You really live this way. You really make decisions and choices this way. This is part of your real life. They just may not manifest in your ideal days exercise. And aspirational values. Values you would like to live by that may not be reflected in your ideal days exercise, whether you do it right now or not. Now, some people think that's not totally legitimate to write down aspirational values. Sometimes, though, people really have these values. They really do want to live by these values. But you're so caught up in the day-to-day busyness of life. You're so caught up in just trying to get together the things that you need to do just to get through the day, just to get through the month, just to make enough money to pay the bills, and to try desperately to get to the end of the month before you get to the end of the money. And that there are real values you really do have. They're inside of you. You just don't get to live them out. Those are great aspirational values. And then you pay attention as you develop those. Do you actually do it? Or is it just something your real value is to be able to say you have that value? That happens to people a lot of times too. But if you write it down and you see as things unfold, you find out for yourself. Now, some goals that you would need to attain to have your ideal life. In order to have this life, what goals would you need to attain? So say, for instance, if the life that you're trying to build is going to cost money. Well, that's great. How much money would that life cost? So one of your goals is going to be to earn that much money. If one of your goals is to pay off your debt, well, good. How much debt do you have? And if you're not sure off the top of your head, don't stop the exercise and say, okay, well, let me go look at it up and get my... Estimate for now, look it up later. Okay, how much money do we need to make? Now, you don't just stop and make that much money. Because as part of the goals, all right, what paths do I have where I could earn that much money? Do I need a raise? Do I need to work overtime? Do I need to get a different job, a second job? Do I need to increase my business? Do I need to increase my business, say, 10%, 20%? Do I need to double my business? Maybe I need to add something, expand something, do something different. Maybe it's going to have to be a family goal, and maybe, my wife is going to have to go back to work or have to work extra hours. Maybe this is going to have to be a team effort, in which case if it's a team vision, we'll work it out as a team. And you take a look at these and say, okay, what possible paths, what other goals would I need to achieve in order to accomplish those ideal days that compose my ideal life? And then some starting ideas for a plan to attain those goals. Starting ideas. These don't have to be the ideas. You don't have to wrestle with it. Starting ideas for a plan. Put together some bare outline. A couple of ideas of where just to start. Starting ideas for a plan. These don't have to be your actual plan. Starting ideas for a plan to attain those goals. Some daily habits, things you would have to live out 5 to 7 days a week, or even a certain number of times a week. And one of the things you realize to have this ideal life, you need to be in pretty good health. Well, pretty good health is probably going to include eating pretty well 7 days a week. If part of it is pretty good fitness, you want to look good, that's a physique. You want to be able to do things, that's fitness. Might you need to exercise? Well, that might only be 2 or 3 days a week. That might not be all 7. So, okay, 3 days a week. Spend at least 20, 30 minutes exercising. Whatever your plan might be, whatever your daily habits will probably have to include. And part of your daily habits is, say, to be more spiritual, to spend more time with God. Then your daily habits might include time in the Bible, time praying, might include going to Mass if you're Catholic. And so whatever your daily habits would be. And that's to implement or maintain. I mean, you might already be in pretty good health. You might already be in pretty good shape. You just need to make sure you don't lose your health. You don't lose your fitness. You don't lose your physique while you pursue your goals. You just need to keep the things in your habits that you already have. What might ideal life creation days look like? We've talked about what your ideal work day would be. We talked about what your ideal non-work day would be. We talked about what your ideal vacation day would be. On your way there, when you're creating your ideal life, what would ideal life creation days look like? When you're living your plan, you're living your plan, creating your ideal life. On your way there, what might those days look like? If on your way there you know you have to complete your education, if on your way there you have to take this test, get that credential, on your way there might include taking classes, might include study time, might include writing time, might include any number of tasks that are part of getting to those ideal days. What is your most immediate action to start on the plan? What can you do right here, right now, today, in the next hour after you're done writing? Today, your next work day, something to move this forward. Your very next school day, to move this forward. And how much help do you need? How much help do you need? Do you have all the tools that you need already? Which of those do you need to use? Do you need to learn some more tools, some more techniques? Do you need to develop some more skills? Do you need a team to put this together? Do you need an accountability partner? Do you need a coach? Do you need a mentor? Do you need someone at a professional level to help? Or could it just be a friend that's willing to ask you some daily questions? How much help do you need? So this is Scott Conway. That's the content of the Vision Workshop. If you're coming to it live, we're going to be doing this in real time and playing music in between. If you're following up with the audio or the video, or if you're only doing it on the audio or the video, just play some music in between, have a powerful time, and get back in touch with me. Let me know how it goes. Thank you.